You're already a screenwriter, you're already a storyteller, and someone, probably an instructor, you just decided to like brush up your storytelling skills, and you come in class and an instructor is telling you you have to have a story. The bridge between you and your dreams is your story. Your story defines you. You have to find a story, and probably when you were a newbie, you will just be asking in your mind, "Wait, do I have to write personal stories, or what does this actually mean?" And you'll be like, can we just get on with this class already? Hello and welcome to my channel, where I share my expertise, my experience, and express ideas on script writing. As a screenwriter who only knows how to tell stories, in fact you peddle in stories, and someone is telling you you just have to have a story, you have to tell your story. This story is this story is that. As a screenwriter, what do the idea of a story mean to you? What does somebody telling you you have to have a story, what does it actually mean to you? What does a story really mean? For me, I have two striking definitions of stories. The first one is, a story is a connected scene of events told through words, imagery, body language, performance, or even music. This one you can get it at literaryterms.net. Now, the one that top takes the eyes is this definition. A story is any narrative, true or fiction, in prose or verse, designed to interest, amuse, or instruct the hearer, viewer, or reader. Now, when they tell you to have a story, the story should not be a personal story. In fact, I've known accomplished script writers over years, over time, that their personal life that is in the public is just sketchy. It's not something so detailed. So the story, and they are accomplished. So when they say have a story, it doesn't actually have to be about you. It can be about, or it is inclusive of what is around you, what you see in your day-to-day life, what you have experienced. Now let's take, for instance, probably you're in one bus stop waiting for a bus. Let's say it's Lagos and it's fuel scarcity period. At least that's a very common occurrence in our polity now. So it's a fuel scarcity period. You know how people rush for buses because the buses on the road are actually very minimal. People are actually looking for fuel to buy and all that. Now, the number of people waiting at the bus stop, and you are waiting too. So your eyes trail. You see probably people coming from the market, people that are dressed to go to work, students that are going to school, just a whole lot of people. And now your eyes just fall on this very pretty lady, pretty girl, with also dressed up, so to slay mama and everything. And one yellow striped bus just comes into view, calling Oshodi, or Ikeja, Yanakwaja, anything, and everybody struggle to get into that vehicle. Now, in the course of the struggle, this pretty woman too is also like with them, and in the course of the struggle, her skirt tears, and she just looks at the skirt like this, and in your mind, at that instance, you feel like probably she's going to like just leave this journey that she's going to and go back to change, but she just looks at the skirt and enters the vehicle anyway with that bad tear. You can write a story from that. You can write a very relatable three-dimensional story from that. Who knows? Probably she's going for a life-changing interview. Probably she just has to be where she is going to. You understand? So that is a story. Okay, let's take for instance again, you're on a very, you're in a busy street, probably you went to look for a friend, and somebody, a guy in front of you, and you'll be like, ah, what's that? And somebody just makes a remark and say, ah, as usual. Do you know that you can connect all these to write a story? So the story must not be about your own personal experiences. Sometimes people, yes, your personal experience matters to garnish a story, to add flavor, to add relatability, to add authenticity to a story. Your personal views matters. What you have experienced as a person matters, but it must not be about you. As a story writer, as a screenwriter, you are a very highly imaginative person. And from these scenarios we have like looked into, you can connect dots, whether real or fictional dots, and weave a beautiful, solid, three-dimensional story that is very humane and relatable. Now, about relatability for a second before we move on. African Magic, for instance, in 2021, they recorded a 7% year-on-year increase in viewership. And they have reached 100 million households in Africa. As in 100 million households. I'm talking about 100 million person, 100 million households. So depending on how many people that are in a household, they have reached 100 million households on their websites. It's on net, so it's open to everybody to either verify or contest or whatever. But they have reached 100 million households. Now, there are some persons that will be like, ah, no, me, I don't watch African Magic. Oh, probably you have been so too Americanized, let me put it that way, and you can't relate. But there are people in 100 million households that can relate. So in every story you tell on this earth, in every story you tell as a screenwriter, people, you have your niche, you have your own audience, you have your own fandom. People can relate. There is nothing that you write, whether you Americanize it or Australianize it or whatever, it's people can relate to it. So it's good for you as a screenwriter. That story that is within you, don't say, hey, who knows, or whatever. No, if that story will give you the biggest break you need in your screenwriting career. Now we are going to like move on to the next thing that is so important. What tools do we need? How do we format our stories? What is the acceptable industry standard that we have to follow? How do we pitch and sell the stories? How do we do our dialogues to be so great? These and more are all that we'll be looking at in a series of videos on this channel. Trust me, you need this. Don't go anywhere.